I'm so sorry I haven't been doing Tagalog time lately or Tagalog Thursdays lately. I have missed you, that's for sure.
Hello, everybody.
Let me go ahead and just mute this. Hang on one moment. Okay, and then of course, let me go ahead and invite our other friends. Let me know if you can hear me, just because I want to make sure everyone can hear me, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and grab our Instagram friends as well. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I have missed you so much. Welcome to Tagalog Thursday. Let me know if you can hear me all right. If you can hear me, go ahead and let me know where you are watching from, maybe how old you are, and why you want to learn Tagalog. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. I know it's been a while. I haven't done the last two Tagalog Thursdays. I've been slacking, I know. One of the weeks, I think I was doing something with my kids, and then last week I was in Chicago. Shout out to all of the Chicagoans. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but you guys totally know all of the iconic places there. I posted that picture of me in the Bean, and I asked you if you knew where it was, and within minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes, people were like, "Oh, that's the Bean. It's the Bean, of course. It's the Cloud Gate." You guys know exactly what it is. Hello, hello, everyone on Instagram. Remember, this whole lesson will be on my YouTube channel, or it is currently on my YouTube channel as well. I am loud. Because I'm reading a comment here on YouTube. It says loud and clear. That's great, great. But I am also live on YouTube as well. And on YouTube, you will be able to follow along with the lesson. You'll see everything written out, and you'll see maybe some graphics and everything like that. Okay, let me just catch up and see where everyone is. Go ahead and write where you are currently from, how old you are, or maybe like why you are learning Tagalog. Let me see. Hello, hello, everybody. Let's see. Phil Rosario is from Toronto. Hello, hello. Las Sas is from San Diego. Mr. Celebrity is from India. Abel is from Illinois. JMW from St. Louis. Carl from New Orleans. Hello, hello. Let me see over here on YouTube. Where are you watching from? Saul is from Dallas, Texas. Hello, hello. Andy is from Anaheim, California. Oh, I want to learn because us Mexicans relate so much. Well, hello, hello, welcome. That's so great. Roland said, love your channel. Salamat, maraming salamat. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on to our lesson here. Okay. Oh, yes. Brett said, good evening, Ate Bata, watching from North Dakota. I'm 62. I'm going to move over to YouTube so I can answer. Yes, go ahead and jump onto my YouTube channel. I am live on YouTube as well, and you'll be able to see the whole lesson on my YouTube channel. And the recording will be up there as well. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our lesson. Sorry to interrupt your regular programming of the Olympics. By the way, if you are watching on the East Coast over here, over here it's like 8:51, so it's the Olympics right now. I know it's a big night with like gymnastics and everything. Okay, so tonight this is what we're going to be learning. We're going to be learning some phrases to use while you are telling a story. A lot of people always ask me for casual, useful conversation things like phrases or words that you can say to sound like a native speaker, right? So here are some phrases or things that you can say while you are telling a story. And I'll give you some hints to use like Taglish throughout your conversation as well. So if you don't know how to speak Tagalog fluently, you will be able to still use some of these phrases in a Taglish way. Like you can still incorporate Tagalog here and there. And then as you build more vocabulary, like a bigger vocabulary, then you will be able to say like full phrases, full conversations in Tagalog. Okay, and then we will also be learning some acknowledgement words. These words are fun. You can throw them in anywhere and it'll make you sound like a native speaker. And then at the very end, I will give an example story, and then we'll see if you can kind of understand it. We'll put in everything that we learned in the lesson, and then let's see if you can kind of see the pattern, see how everything is put in place, and then be able to recognize or understand what was being said. Okay, so when I think of a story, like when someone is talking about something that happened to them or, something they anticipate to happen, there are certain parts of a story, right? There's an intro or a hook, and then there's an order of events. Then there's a dialogue, sometimes like he said, she said, this and that. So that's like a dialogue in a story. And then sometimes, like depending on who you're talking to, you might get some acknowledgement for what was being said. Okay? So those are just different parts of the story. We'll break it down and see what you can say in Tagalog for these different parts. Let's just jump right into it. Here are some phrases that you can say to introduce a story or as a hook. For example, may kwento ako para sa'yo. May kwento ako para sa'yo. May means to have. Cuento is a story. Ako is I. Para is for. Sa'yo is you. So, may kwento ako para sa'yo means I have a story for you. Okay, so that's like a way to hook someone into your conversation. You're like, oh my gosh, I have a story for you. Oh my gosh, may kwento ako para sa'yo. Okay? Here's another thing you could say. May sasabihin ako sa'yo mamaya. May sasabihin ako sa'yo mamaya. So, may means to have. Sasabihin means will say or will tell. Ako means I. Sa'yo means to you. Mamaya means later. So, may sasabihin ako sa'yo mamaya means I have something to tell you later. Okay? May sasabihin ako sa'yo mamaya. I have something to tell you later. Yes! TMD Texas says chismis. Oh, yes, we're going to get to that. Okay, so again, these are just hooks or intro phrases to kind of get someone excited about hearing your story. Okay, so if you're just joining, we are learning phrases that you can say while telling a story. And if you're on Instagram, this whole thing is on YouTube. You'll be able to follow along with my lesson. Just look up Tagalog Time with Pat. Okay, another thing you can say to introduce the story is, alam mo ba, ... Alam mo ba? Alam means to know. Mo is referring to you. Ba is a question word. So, did you know ... Alam mo ba ... For example, alam mo ba I got a new job? Did you know I got a new job? Or, alam mo ba my car broke down? Did you know my car broke down? Okay, so alam mo ba ... Did you know, or guess what? Sometimes it almost translates to guess what, or like just a way to bring someone into the story. And then lastly, here's something you could say. May chismis ako. May chismis ako. That means I have some gossip. Or may balita ako. I have some news. May balita ako. So chismis is gossip. Balita is news. So you might have seen some people in the comments here on Instagram talking about chismis. One thing, in Tagalog, it's spelled with a TS. The TS combination makes that ch sound. So, may chismis ako means I have some gossip for you. And another way to say it is like, may balita ako, I have some news for you. Yes. Andreas on YouTube said, marites ka. Speaking of, so let's talk about chismis a little bit. I feel like it's embedded in the Filipino culture, right? Some gossip. I guess in any culture, people love talking about other people, unfortunately. So chismis, again, is gossip. And you might hear the phrase marites, or that's kind of like the name given to someone who is a gossiper, who loves to gossip. It's like, oh, marites siya. She is a marites. And marites, unfortunately, is a real name. Like, people are named marites. But over the years, recently, this name has been given to people who love to gossip. Kind of like Karen, like, oh, she's a Karen means someone who likes to complain a lot. So marites is kind of the negative name of someone who likes to gossip a lot. And it comes from this phrase, mare, or sorry, not mare, what's the latest? So do you see the marites in there? Mare, what's the latest? Marites. So mare is like your friend who's a girl, like, hey girlfriend, that's like mare. Usually like ninangs or people who are like have godchildren with each other. Like if you choose someone to be your kid's ninang, that's like your mare and pare and things like that. But do you see, it just comes from this phrase, mare, what's the latest? So they're always saying that, so they got this name, marites. Okay? Yes, JB said, haha, chismis. I heard that a lot from my aunties growing up. Yes, there's a lot of chismis, or as my husband likes to call it, Chex Mix. And then so someone might be called marites, someone who likes to gossip, or just the classic traditional name is chismosa or chismoso, someone who likes to chismis, someone who likes to gossip. So chismosa is a girl or a woman, chismoso is a guy or a boy who likes to gossip. Okay? And then madaldal, that's just an adjective meaning someone who likes to talk a lot. Like someone who likes to talk too much sometimes. Madaldal, just keeps talking and talking. Sometimes if people are like, bakit ang daldal mo? Why are you talking so much? If like they're giving someone else's secrets all out there. They're like, ang daldal mo, you know? Oh, Andres, thank you so much for the super on YouTube. Thank you. Any gifts that I get on these platforms, I really try to give back. Speaking of, these earrings are from Sunkissed Pinay. I love wearing Filipino-inspired jewelry or buying products that I can share with you. Maraming salamat, Andres. Thank you. Okay, so everyone got it? You know what a marites is? Again, marites is someone who likes to gossip, also known as chismosa, chismoso, or someone who is madaldal, likes to talk a lot. Okay? Now, we talked about how to reel someone into your story, right? We talked about an intro or hooks that you can say at the start of your sentence or of your story. Now, here are some words or transition words that I like to call them that you can use in your story to describe the order of events. So, una is first. Una. Pangalawa is second. Pangalawa. Pangatlo, third. Pangatlo. Tapos means next or then. At saka means and then. At sa huli means finally. And then yun lang means that's all. So let me give you some examples of how some of these are used. First, do you see that these first three, una, pangalawa, pangatlo, if you know your numbers in Tagalog, it's just the matter of adding pang before it, except for the word una. Una is its own thing. It comes from the Spanish uno, meaning one. But if you know your numbers like isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, you can just say like pang-apat, pang-lima if you have a lot of things that you're listing out. The fourth, the fifth. So here's an example of how I would say this. If I was baking, like frying an egg. Una, ibubuksan ko yung itlog. I will open the egg. Or sisirain. How do you say crack an egg in Tagalog? I guess I've never really said it. Pangalawa, maglalagay ako ng oil sa kawali. Then second, I will add oil in the pan. Pangatlo, ilalagay ko na yung itlog. I guess first it should have been the oil. Second, then it's the egg, whatever. You know what I mean. So you're just adding these phrases at the beginning and just know that if you know the numbers, you can just add it with the pang prefix. Pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat. Okay, now I like to use these next ones throughout a story. It really helps it flow. So tapos means then or next. For example, umuwi ako tapos naligo. I came home and then I took a shower. Tapos naglinis ako ng bahay, then I cleaned the house. Tapos, nagluto ako ng hapunan, then I cooked dinner. Okay, and then at saka, technically it's spelled at saka, but when it's pronounced, remember the TS combination, it makes that ch sound. At saka, so that means and then blank. So, umalis ako ng bahay at saka sinundo ko yung kaibigan ko. I left the house and then I picked up my friend. So, at saka means and then blank. Same with at sa huli. Even though there's that TS meeting there, you don't really say at sa huli. It's separate. At sa huli, ... Finally, blank. So, at sa huli nakatulog na ako ng maaga. Finally, I got to go to sleep early. And then, yun lang means that's all. So it's like, maybe you said this long story and then someone was waiting for you to say more and you're like, yun lang, that's all I got. Yun lang. Okay? So those are different vocabulary words you can say as like order of events and transitions throughout a story. Yes, JB said, pang-apat is fourth. Exactly right. So una is first, pangalawa is third. Pangalawa is second. I was reading a comment up here. And then pangatlo is third. Pang-apat is fourth. Panglima is fifth, and so on. Okay? Now, here's an example, or here are ways to talk about dialogue. So whenever you're talking about like something that's happened in the past, usually it's like, oh, he said, she said, then I said, and then they said, So in order to incorporate dialogue or talk about what someone has said, you would say, sabi niya, ... That means he or she said something. Sabi ko, ... I said this. Sabi nila, they said this. So sabi means to say. And then you just fill in the pronoun. These are all possessive pronouns. It's almost like you are possessing what has been said. So sabi niya, sabi ko, sabi nila. Sabi mo would be you, like you said, ... I will say sabi is a kind of like an abbreviation, or it's like the shortcut. Usually, technically, it should be sinabi niya. Sinabi is the past tense conjugation of sabi. Sinabi. But if you want to sound natural, if you want to sound like a native Tagalog speaker, usually they just say sabi, sabi. Like, sabi niya, he was going to go home today. He said he was going to go home. But it's not wrong if you say, sinabi niya, uuwi na siya. He said he's going to go home. Just know that technically it's sinabi. Okay? Now, here are some acknowledgement words. Okay? I like teaching these because people always want to know like quick and easy words and phrases that you can start using now. So these are really good words to throw in there whenever you are talking to a native Tagalog speaker. It will really help you sound like you know what you're talking about. Okay, so talaga means really, talaga. And then grabe, wow, grabe. Hala, oh no, hala. Ayos, nice, ayos. Galing, great, galing. Hindi nga, no way, hindi nga. And then mabuti naman, that's good, mabuti naman. Let me just catch up on some of these questions here. Oh yes, David said this slang makes Tagalog so hard to learn. I know, it does make it a little bit tricky. Let's see, did anyone have any questions? If you have a question, go ahead and just write it in here. I don't want to miss it. Okay, we'll keep going. So these acknowledgement words are words that I use all the time. So, oh no, it said you can't hear me. Let me just go ahead. My mic might have died. Sorry. Hello, Instagram. Can you hear me? I think my microphone died a little bit. Any luck? Hello. Still no audio? Hang on. Okay, I think it's working now. Let me know. Yay. Okay. Yes. So again, these acknowledgement words are words that I love using all the time, and I will always use them. Like if someone is like telling me good news, like, hey, I just won the lottery. You're like, oh, talaga? Really? Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Or one way to use like grabe, wow, it can be good or bad. Like, grabe, she was so mean. Like, wow, she was really mean. Or, grabe, I'm so happy for you. Wow, I'm so happy for you. So a lot of these can be used in different contexts. Just change your tone a little bit. Like, hindi nga, no way. Like, oh no, I lost my cat. You're like, hindi nga. Oh no, no way. Or something really exciting like, I got a raise. You're like, hindi nga. You're like, no way. Okay, so a lot of these you can just incorporate in different contexts. Do you know of any other acknowledgement words that you like to throw in there? I think this is a pretty good list. I use them a lot. Oh, so Imagine said, ikakainis. Nakakainis means like, oh, so frustrating, which you could also use as an acknowledgement word. Like if someone was telling you a frustrating story and you're like, wow, nakakainis naman. It's like, wow, that is really frustrating. This word naman, you'll see it here with the mabuti naman. That's an emphasis word. Technically, you don't have to add naman. You could just say mabuti, cool, mabuti, or that's great, good. But when you add naman, it's like, that's awesome. That's really good. Okay. Yes. Fubo said, grabe naman. Same idea, right? We know grabe as wow. If you say grabe naman, it's like, wow. You know, it's just adding emphasis there. Yes. David said, sige. Sige means okay. So if it's like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation. You're like, oh, okay, sige. Sige, okay. Football juggler said sayang. Is that what you? It says saying. That could have been autocorrect there. Sayang, yes. So sayang means too bad. So that's a good one to say as well. So like if someone was like, oh, I lost the competition. You're like, oh, sayang. I know you worked hard. Oh, too bad. Right? Football juggler said sana all. Have you heard that phrase, sana all? So sana means hopefully, or I hope, hopefully. All is like all of us. Hopefully all of us can have whatever it is you're talking about. So for example, if someone is like, oh, look, I got a new car. You could be like, oh, sana all. That means like, oh, I wish I could have that too. I wish everyone could have that. Okay. Sana all. Someone over here said, I think that was it over here. Oh, yes. Little Duck on YouTube said, totoo. Totoo means true. True. So yes, that's a good one to throw in there as well. So it's like if someone is talking about like, you know, they're wasting all of this plastic. I wish they would just recycle it. You're like, oo, totoo. Yes, that's right. Totoo. JB said, I thought sayang meant pity or waste. Yes. So it does mean like, oh, too bad, or that's a waste. So if you're using it kind of as an acknowledgement, it's almost like that's a waste. Like, oh, too bad. You know, kind of like metaphorically wasted. Okay. Oh, yes, JB said, Ate Pat, may tanong ako. I have a question. Is sana all an expression of envy? Absolutely. It's like people are envious of what you had just told them or envious of what you have. So they're like, oh, sana all. I wish I had that. I wish everybody had that. Okay, any others that you can think of? Oh, David on Instagram said, bongga. Bongga. So I'm asking you if you know of any other like acknowledgement words that you can throw into a conversation. Bongga. Bongga means like, wow, like awesome, flashy, or like, really cool. It's like, oh, look at my new hairstyle. I got a new haircut. And you're like, oh, bongga. Or like, look at my new bag. And you're like, bongga. It's like, oh, you're so stylish, or like, nice. Oh, yes. RTFLE said, diba? Diba? So, diba means really. It's like putting together the words hindi ba. Do I have a filter on my face on Instagram? Why is it so weird? Maybe not. Okay. We'll see. It used to be the dog ears. It would always pop up. I think maybe it's gone. Anyway. So, diba is the words hindi ba put together. So it's like, right? So if you were to say, the play starts at 3 o'clock, diba? You're like, it starts at 3, right? So it's like, diba, right? It could also be like an acknowledgement of like, yeah, like just giving, again, just further emphasizing what's been said. Okay. Oh, over here, Little Duck said, Hay nako. Hay nako means like, oh no, or like, I can't believe it. That's a good one too. Like if someone is giving or telling you a story of something crazy or something someone did, you're like, Hay nako. It's like, oh wow, oh brother. Very good, very good. Okay, so again, those are just acknowledgement words that you can incorporate. Really, really try to use these when you're learning Tagalog so that you can start incorporating a little bit Tagalog and then build on what you know. Let's go back a slide here. So for the order of events, remember I told you can start using like Taglish when you can. I personally really like Taglish while you're learning Tagalog because no one's going to expect you to be fluent from the get-go, right? That's very rare for someone to just catch on, especially in Tagalog. It's the grammar and the conjugations can be tricky. But what you can do is start incorporating a little bit of Tagalog in your daily conversations. So, for example, take a look at these words from order of events. If you can start incorporating tapos, like then, if you can start incorporating that almost like all the time, then you're like using Tagalog without even thinking about it, right? So it's like if you were just talking about your morning, you're like, oh yeah, I was running late. Tapos I got a flat tire. Tapos I ran out of gas. Tapos when I got to work, my manager was mad at me. So do you see how I'm just incorporating tapos throughout the conversation and, build upon that later on. Building upon that, you'll have to learn verb conjugation, sentence structure, which by the way, you can see the whole full-length lessons on how to do that on my YouTube channel. But for the meantime, if you can just incorporate Tagalog little by little, that's going to really help, okay? Same with the word or the phrase yun lang. That's really easy to incorporate in everyday conversations. Like if someone was waiting for you to tell more about your story and you're like, yun lang, that's all I have. Okay? So yes. And then going back to these acknowledgement words, these are, again, a good way to incorporate Taglish. So if someone is telling you a story and they can speak Tagalog, you can say, talaga? Really? Talaga? And then like, oh, mabuti naman. That's great. Mabuti naman. Okay? Yes. Ejam on YouTube said, does tapos also mean finished? Yes, it does. It does. So, like, it can be a verb to finish. So it's like, tapusin mo na, finish it. Go ahead and finish it. Or if you're watching a movie and someone comes in late and you're like, oh, tapos na, it's done, it's finished. So yes, tapos, it's a homonym. It's one of those words that has a different meaning depending on the pronunciation or depending on the context of the phrase. So when it's tapos, when the emphasis is at the end, tapos, that means finished. When the emphasis is on the first syllable, tapos, then it means next. Interesting there. Very interesting. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So JB said, ubusin mo ito. Ubusin mo ito means finish this. And then you could also say, tapusin mo na, finish that. So that's kind of like two different finishes, actually. When you say ubusin, that means consume. Like, ubusin mo na yung tubig mo, or ubusin mo na yung kanin mo, finish your water, finish your rice, right? When you say tapusin mo na, that means finish your activity. So it's kind of a different context. EJ, you're welcome. Walang anuman. So very interesting. Yes, JB, that's a very good point. So there are two ways to say finish this. You can say tapusin mo na, or you could say ubusin mo na. Ubusin is the consumption finish. Ubusin mo na ang tubig mo, ubusin mo na ang kanin mo. Finish your water, finish your rice. Or tapusin mo na yung ginagawa mo. Finish what you're doing. Very interesting there. Let's see. There was a question up here. Let's see. Yes, someone asked, how do you say goodbye in Tagalog? It means, or it's paalam, paalam. Okay. Oh, yes. Football Juggler said, I hear kasi a lot. So kasi isn't really an acknowledgement word. It's more of a transition word. It means because. Kasi. So it's like, my head hurts kasi I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. My head hurts because I didn't get a lot of sleep. So that's what kasi is. Very good. Imagine said, where do you live in the Philippines? Actually, I live over here in North Carolina, in the States, on the East Coast. My family is from Bicol in the Philippines, Catanduanes, and my mom's side is from Sorsogon. When we go, I go to Manila. And now I visit Cebu too because my husband's family is from Cebu. How about you? Where are you guys from? All right. So we learned intro phrases. We learned then we learned like marites and what chismis is, right? Then we learned words or transition words to describe the order of events. And then we learned some acknowledgement words, okay? Now, here's an example story. Here's an example. I want you to listen carefully, okay? It's okay if you don't know everything. One thing I want you to get from listening to this is I want you to try and recognize words that you may already know in Tagalog. Maybe it'll help if you close your eyes or something, okay? See if you can recognize any words. See if you can recognize a grammar pattern, like see where the subject is, see where the verb is, and then try to recognize all of those words that we learned at the beginning of class, right? Like the transition words, maybe some of the phrases we learned, okay? Ready? Here we go. Uy, may kwento ako para sa'yo. Naaalala mo ba si Sarah? Yung kaklase natin noon? Nakita ko siya sa tindahan ng isang araw. Sabi niya, nakatira daw siya malapit sa atin. Tapos sabi ko, dumalaw siya sa bahay minsan. At saka sabi niya, may 2 anak na siya. Sabi ko, isama niya yung mga anak niya pagbisita sa atin para makapaglaro sila at ang mga bata. Tapos yun lang, umalis na siya. So that was, in a way, this example is it's like a little repetitive. I really wanted to use all of the transitions in there. It's a little verbose, right? There, it's very wordy. But you get the idea. I hope you see the transition words that were used. Did you understand? What do you think? Was there anyone in there who understood it all? I'll read it again, okay? I'll go a little bit slower. Uy, may kwento ako para sa'yo. Naaalala mo ba si Sarah? Yung kaklase natin noon? Nakita ko siya sa tindahan nung isang araw. Sabi niya, nakitira daw siya malapit sa atin. Tapos, sabi ko, dumalaw siya sa bahay minsan. Oh, there's a typo right there. At saka, sabi niya, may 2 anak na siya. Sabi ko, isama niya yung mga anak niya pagbisita sa atin para makapaglaro sila at ang mga bata. Tapos yun lang, umalis na siya. What do you think? Let me just catch up on some of these comments here. Oh, let me answer your question in just a minute, okay? I'm Terry. Yes, exactly right. Feminine womanhood. You got it right. I have some news for you. Remember our classmate? She said she lives near us. I said she should come to visit. Exactly right. I said she should bring her kids so our kids can play. That's all. Then she had to leave. Yay! So here's the translation, okay? So exactly right. Remember, we learned, Uy, may kwento ako para sa'yo. Hey, I have a story for you. May kwento ako para sa'yo. And then, naaalala mo ba si Sarah? Do you remember Sarah? Yung kaklase natin noon. Our old classmate. Nakita ko siya sa tindahan nung isang araw. I saw her at the store the other day. Sabi niya, nakatira siya malapit sa atin. She said that she lives close to us. Tapos sabi ko, dumalaw siya sa bahay natin minsan. Then I told her she should visit our house sometime. Tapos, where am I? I lost. Oh, at saka sabi niya, may 2 anak na siya. Then she said she has 2 kids. Sabi ko, isama niya yung mga anak niya pagbisita sa atin para makapaglaro sila at ang mga bata. I said that she should bring her kids when she comes to visit so that they can play with our kids. Tapos yun lang, umalis na siya. Then that was it. She left. Exactly right. Let me catch up on some of these comments here. Oh, nice. Feminine Womanhood said, I learned Tagalog at 18 years old. LOL, English is my first language. How did you learn? Were you in a class? Did you move to the Philippines or what? What is your secret? People always ask what is the best way to learn? You know, it's the best way I think is immersion. But what did you do? My older kids are now following your channel. They are also first language English speakers. Thanks for all you do. Oh, maraming salamat. Maraming salamat. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Feminine Womanhood said, I moved back to the Philippines. I knew it. Alam ko yun. That is the best way to learn. Okay. Now, very good. Ras Vega said, how old are you? Where in Pinas are you from? So how old am I? How old do you think I look? Pop quiz. How old do you think I look? And then, where in the Philippines am I from? I was born in Manila. Pinanganak ako sa Maynila. Tapos, lumipat kami ng pamilya ko dito sa Amerika nung 2 taon lang ako. Actually, hindi pa nga ako 2 taon nun eh. Dito ako nag 2 taon. I moved to America when I was almost 2 years old. I turned 2 here. So I'm over. Oh my goodness, how do you? Imogene and T-Rex said 32. Oh, is it because I said it at the beginning? Or are you just a little creepy? No, I probably said it in the beginning. Alrighty. Very good. Oh, YouTube, everyone on YouTube thinks I'm a little bit younger. 25, 20s, 27, 25, and 26. Okay, let's just say I'm 20. All right, guys. So here's just a review of everything we learned. This was just a little quickie, right? A quick lesson here. So we learned some phrases and words that you can use while telling a story, right? We talked about intro phrases or some hooks that you can say to bring people into your conversation or your story. We also learned some order of events like transition words. Una, pangalawa, pangatlo. So first, this happened. Second and third. And then we learned like tapos, that means next or then, and so on. And then we learned some acknowledgement words. Again, these are really good words to just keep in your pocket and throw them out there in a conversation. When someone is talking to you or telling you something, say, talaga? Really? It will make the other person smile. It will make you look like you know what you're talking about. It's a win-win for everybody, right? Yes. PC Not said, can this be watched somewhere else? Yes, the full recording with everything written out will be on my YouTube channel afterwards. Yes. Oh, Imogene said, I guessed 32 because my wife is 34 and she looks just like you. All right. Okay, and then we practiced with an example story. So the example there was really just to test your comprehension. It's okay if you didn't get it, if you didn't understand it all. But I think those kinds of practices are very helpful for you to understand the flow of a Tagalog story and just to hopefully see some patterns